make sure it's not pointed directly at Charles. So you guys are like straight ahead.
15.
You got it. So even if you want to like hold the top handle and like, there you go, just hold it off to the side, like on your side. This way.
Or like this?
Yeah. So that way we at least have some footage in case something starts to happen with Jeff's legs. We're all gonna know it. So. So anyway, Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks, in case you lost count. That's why we look for secondary clues. I need to know which Charles is actually coming through. If we actually have a Charles coming through, if you're getting my point. We're actually gonna have 4 Charleses because we got little Charles here tonight too. So, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. Not a big deal for me, but a big deal for South Carolina. We're gonna move on because I hate politics. And if I don't bring that up and show them some recognition, they're gonna do it for me on a spirit box very angrily. And I don't want that to happen out of disrespect. So, let's talk about Eliza. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say today's standards because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, you're not going to hear numbers like 12 and 14 from the colonial times that she came from. Think of today's standards. The reason I say that is because her husband, Charles, was over double her age. So it's kind of a creepy age gap in the 1700s, creepy age gap now. So kind of keep that in mind. But she married Charles because her father was over in England. He thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put and got married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We're not a country yet. So she did marry him out of love, and there is no foul play in this marriage, so don't poke the bear. But anyway, she was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he started sending her gifts from England to exactly where we're standing right now. Some of you, or most of you, have been here for at least a day. You've seen the word indigo somewhere. This is exactly what he sent her. Plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. A lot of you guys are wearing it tonight. So when she got the seeds, she didn't know what to do with it. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's not hot here all the time. And when she figured out how to make the dye, she moved it down to another cash crop plantation by the Stono River, got a hold of her dad and said, rice plantations are going downhill. We're gonna make a killing with the indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. That's the boring business stuff of Eliza Pinckney. Let's get into the weird stuff because that's why you guys are all here. And poor Charles is going to fall asleep if I keep talking history. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through with each spirit box and kind of give you a series of questions to focus on of things that we commonly get the answers to at this space. So keep in mind when we do spread out, you're not going to be going in between vehicles. It kind of limits our space in between. I know I tucked this up here into the corner, but we're going to spread out. When people are walking through here to go to their cars, just go the opposite way, like you're not doing anything. So let's kind of go through the spirit boxes and communication devices. So actually between the two of you, so Tonya and Carol, your devices are going to be kind of working the same way on this one. So Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. Ironically, both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. You are going to be looking for her full initials, E-L-P, in that specific order, or any other words being spelled out for us. But you, specifically, are going to be asking about Eliza's maiden name so we know which Eliza we're dealing with. Which, by the way, for a gentleman in the room, his first wife, Eliza, died in January. 5 months later, in May, he marries the one we just spoke about. So it's either a really smart move or a jerk move, depending on what kind of gentleman you are. So that kind of gets those two devices out of the way. You have a red spirit box, correct? So I'm actually going to give you and Jeff the same questions to kind of see how this goes. You two are going to focus on Eliza's death. So she's pretty open about how she communicates about this. So you can ask her how old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So those are types of answers that we get from your spirit boxes. Your two spirit boxes work pretty close to the same way. So you guys are going to have the same series of questions as well. The mansion's not here anymore. We're standing in it. So again, what happened to it? When did that happen? We're obviously looking for some type of date or numbers. Normally if we get the what, we will normally get 2 or 3 numbers of the when. For all people with communication devices, do not get discouraged if you're not getting direct answers. We have a lot of people asking questions out here in this space every night, and we also have 3 cameras and my voice recorder. The answers can go anywhere. That's the beauty of what we're doing with so many different devices. There's only 2 people in this room that actually have identical devices, and that would be Amanda and Jeff. They're the only 2 that have a duplicate. Everybody else has something completely different. And yes, all of your video does record audio, just so you guys know. I don't listen to those conversations. I learned to put it on mute so I can focus on the visuals, but you guys are getting my point. But we are going to spread out in this location. I'm going to keep Tonya behind just for a few minutes so I can show her how to use that. And then I'm going to be bouncing around with all of you to see what you guys have going on with your devices, what you've heard, what readings we're getting, so forth and so on. But I'm going to keep Tonya behind first, and I'll bounce around with the rest of you as we kind of move around here. I'll do 2 round robins, pull us back to a space like this, and give out all the answers to kind of show you how it all pieces together based on what was found.
What crazy number did you say to look for?
Well, 2.5 is normally the base.
Okay.
I'm going to keep yours at 2.5, even though Tony's already gotten a 5.1. So I want yours to go above 2.5 and keep escalating it.
I've got several 14s now.
14s?
Yeah.
Wow, so you're going to keep escalating above 14 at this point. Nice. All right, guys, let's spread out. I'm going to keep Tonya behind. 5.1.
Is it recording?
Come out, come out. Show yourself. Oh, there. Where are you going?
Just pick him up.
No. It was 2 of them. It was him and the other one. You're supposed to be asking questions, your thing. You're supposed to be asking questions for yours.
Well, was I asking?
What he told you? Oh, that's, I just picked them up. See anybody out here? Eliza? Charles? Oh, babe. Oh. I just want to pick up people from out there. Look, it keeps picking something up over here. It's picking something up over here.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but it's not like in the shape of a flash by. Oh, there it goes. Well, that one. Where'd it go? See it? Show yourself. There it is. Oh, I see you.
Yep.
Come back. Yes.
There was something there, wasn't it?
It's there. It's still there. It's moving. There it is.
Yeah. That was a card or something. Maybe. Maybe not.
It's right here in the trees. Oh, there it is. What is that?
Where's the power line?
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
Why does it look like it's upside down? Oh. Yeah, it might be the cars. Huh?
You saying it's upside down?
Looks like it is. See the
No, it's
cars?
the building right there. Says the building.
Yeah, but when a car goes by.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, it is upside down.
Yeah.
It's sideways. Like that. There you go.
It's still upside down. Oh, there it is. I can't figure out what I'm picking up. Oh, there we go. Look. Oh, it is a person. Or is that somebody behind me?
I don't know.
Hello? That was weird. What am I picking up though?
Do you know where that's at? I mean, out here. Looks like a person.
It is a person. But is it?
All right. So,
But it's the power box.
Yeah.
So you don't get too excited.
No, I know. It's like it's upside down. Here, let's.
And what I do with this guy is I make sure, like when there is a stick, anything on there, I want to, because you can't always see it. Obviously, look at your screen, it's black.
Right.
So if there's something that shows up on there, I take it as a screenshot and I brighten it up until I can see everything that's in the frame to make sure it's not a sign or posts or a person standing in front of another person, because this is a depth perception camera.
Right.
So anything that's in front of something else, it's going to try to make it look like a stick man. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
so
no, that makes sense.
I turned the sensitivity on this guy. Like when I first got it, I've only had it for like 2 months.
Oh, okay.
I had the sensitivity turned way up. Oh my god, it was a nightmare.
Okay.
It took me like 3 hours to go through the whole video to try to learn about it.
Yeah.
So as the nights went on, I learned to turn its sensitivity down further and further and further. I think we finally have it at a comfortable state where when something does pop up, if it's questionable, obviously you record the whole action and kind of let me kind of determine if it's anything legit or not. I'm always looking for points. So let's kind of get some points of, we're pointing at the workers over there. Get this like the brightest section we have. So anytime, like over here by this wall, for example, if you were to point it at that wall, it might take the light as a head, and then it might take the awning as a body, and then the top of the wall as the feet.
Okay.
So that's what I would expect out of something like that, because those are three things that are in 3D for us.
Right.
You getting my point? So.
But see, there was something. See, it's over here. Is it the
so that's
electrical?
looking at the tree. Trees are not our friends with this camera.
Okay.
Because the
Yeah, it's
leaves are
looking
all
at
in
the
front of
power.
another.
That's
Looking
what
at
it
the
is
power
then.
of
Okay.
pole.
Okay.
Trees.
That makes sense now.
So sometimes you'll get that
Okay.
gobbledygook ball
Yeah, I
of,
was like,
whatever.
You know, like somebody was laying there, and I'm like, what?
But it will also always try to put a figure, head, shoulders, hips.
Well,
and
that
legs.
one did have a head.
Yeah, it's
That
always
looked like
gonna
it
try
was.
to do
Yeah,
that.
that was laying down. I was like, but then I was like, it's like it was sideways, so I couldn't figure out where I was.
Is
at.
this thing super fun? Yes. This is
Yes,
the only
this is fun.
real-time camera that I have. The other two I follow up with in the morning. And again, I'm going to tell Charles, again, your camera, you pick the smallest one. It's too hard to see sometimes in real time. I watch it on YouTube tomorrow morning.
Right.
But with yours, it's obviously big enough.
Right.
And we're actually getting ready to transition the thermal camera, the one that Gene has, to one of the view of the alley one way or the other. So, whistling ghosts. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. I'm just going to put that out there right now, including us. There is proof of this one. You can make that determination for yourself as we kind of go through this. But anyway, where was I? So the whistling, oh, by the way, Ralph and the Dr. Ladd, they go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other. Sorry, I got a little disoriented by passing by. But they go see plays. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. So he gets better seats. That's just the way it goes. So they argue about this play on the way home. They go see Richard III one night, and the argument turns into, it's over an actress. The doctor thought she was great, whereas Ralph didn't think she was so great. It turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. So they go their separate ways after it got really ugly. But Ralph has friends around town, and he goes to the newspaper, and he puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of stuff. Doctor saw the ad and rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this, and somebody's going to die. Came down, they took their 10 paces, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot his one shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happens at a duel. But Ralph, he has his one bullet and his flintlock, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Dr. Ladd drops to the ground. He doesn't die. Ralph proved his point that he's still pissed off, and the doctor's friends took him home to 59 Church Street, where he actually dies 10 days later. So, that's November 2nd of 1786. I also want you to remember that in 1786, gunshot wounds were a lot different than they are today. Dr. Ladd refused medical treatment. He's a doctor himself. He probably just tried to bleed it out. So did you hear everybody whistling? That's my next point. So if you're going to try this on your own and actually walk all the way through the alley and turn on your voice recorders, every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. I used to do it every single night when I parked right down the road. So I would pass the alley on my way home after I was done after a tour, and I would always throw a whistle, especially since I got thrown out of here. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. I want to see where they're going to stop, because when I talk about that, I want to make sure nobody's in earshot besides you guys. But this is a very, very cool alley. There's a lot of history here that goes more into just the duels that people don't actually talk about, which is why I was so adamant about taking this spot here about the gate. So you're going to hear that just in a second. You guys can cut through. You're good. We'll take all your whistles too. We heard you down there. The alley didn't always go all the way through this way. There was a wall about halfway between us and Cumberland Street. And the reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. It was called Cow Alley back then. The word cow shows up here all the time, Carol. Just keep an eye out for it. But anyway, that means the bricks on the other side are older than the bricks we're standing on. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint in one of those bricks down there, along with some fingerprint swipes in others. I used to take my groups all the way through here when I was new at this. And everybody wants to try to huddle around that brick and wait for something to happen, and I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid's not there. That's the last place you're going to find him. November 26th of 2020, when I was still new at this, as you guys probably remember, my entire team of 10 is huddled around one brick waiting for something to happen. I'm trying to shoo them along because I know nothing's going to happen, and it's outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful, not knowing I was out of bounds for tours. So the new owner of that mansion came out screaming. London thought it was great, my daughter, because she was on the tour that night and Dad's getting yelled at. And we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't work on Thanksgiving anymore because I worked in retail management for over 20 years, mainly for Walmart. You're all adults. I can feel your pain coming right at me like, oh my God, that poor guy. So I don't work Thanksgiving anymore. The next day was November 28th of 2020, and all of these dates matter, so bear with me. I called my partner and told him what happened basically on the day before Thanksgiving, and he said, you can't go down that far, dude. You're only allowed to go down halfway, or you got to reroute your group. So I decided I'm going to reroute my group. But what I told them was, I don't believe in the next story, guys. I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person, and I've never had anything happen paranormally at the next location. You're getting my point with all the pirate stuff now?
I had blood sucking from it.
Blood sucking could also be from the doctor. That was called bloodletting, but you guys are getting my point. But what I told that team, we're going to see what happens. Before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate Anne Bonny. So I'm like, oh shit, let's see what happens. We get up there, I told them what little bit I did know about piracy, because again, I only had one day to do a quick research on the location, and somebody else heard the number 300 in real time. I don't know what that means. I write it down, I research it the next day. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. Here's what I'm going to tell you about the next space. It's a very grand romantic story because I've read more pirate books than I ever wanted to in my entire life. Here's my problem with pirates and why I'm not a pirate person. Pirate stories are based off of pirate lore. So I've read more books than I ever wanted to. I'm trying to make sure like what we're going to be discussing is going to be as factual as possible. It is also a hit or miss location. We're not going to spread out in this location like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site. We're going to be looking for bleed over from this location into the next location from here, along with the pirate story that I'll be telling you, to kind of see what happens. Because again, the Anne Bonny place can be a hit or miss. She's said to be seen all over town. The hope is that she's going to be there for the same 15 to 20 minutes that we're going to be there. And again, that's a big roll of the dice sometimes, especially when she's said to be seen all over. I always explain why we go to certain places. This one is definitely an intelligent ghost. I am excited about your JL. Is Remy up there?
Yeah, Remy's here.
Yeah, we're in his house, so he's not going to bother you at all. I see him every night. Again, everybody like starts jumping around, and it's funny because it's usually the gentlemen that start doing that. You would think it's the ladies that are jumping around looking for Remy. But with this location, you hear how quiet it is. They also, you can hear the whistles as you go through here, and it's always like this, even on a busy Saturday afternoon, except for the air conditioners that go off for these buildings, or people coming down the alley whistling at us. You guys are getting the point. Anything weird or strange going on with your devices before we go get into our pirates across the street?
Seems like it's stuck on a station.
Because you broke it.
I don't know. Sounds like Joe Biden talking.
Right, yeah, that's definitely broken. Anything else going on with your devices? Tonya, you got anything?
Mr. Vax, Mr. Vave,
Mr. Vax?
Vax.
Yeah, like you have an MR in front of it? That's interesting. I'm writing that one down. That'll make sense. Anybody else? Amanda? Jeff? Nothing. What you got?
Pretty door manager
I stand up.
Well, the technical list on the
Oh. Did you see them?
Wow, that's a lot.
Read me.
Okay.
The back.
Nothing that really stands out besides the bridle piece, but that's too vague for me. Oh, the gate. Reason why I brought us all the way down here. So the gate, remember that the alley didn't go all the way through this way. This just show you guys how I actually piece a lot of this stuff together. So in the event there was a loser to a duel going on over here, a dead guy, this was the shortcut to get to St. Philip Cemetery. Otherwise, it'd have to go all the way down to the end to Queen Street and drag the dead body all the way back around again, so double time, up to the cemetery. So they just created this shortcut. The wrought iron was probably put there in the early 1900s, but you can definitely see where the archway is definitely an original part of the alley. So I call this the Death Gate, but all of the other tour guides, nobody knows why the hell this gate was here. And I don't even remember where the hell I found that piece of knowledge for this. I'm like, oh, that's like the coolest thing ever. I'm gonna call that the Death Gate. So, but again, let's go talk about Crazy Pirates. For those of you with cameras, if you want to keep them running. By the way, feel free to intermingle your devices within your party. So kind of keep that in mind. You guys can change things up a little bit if you
Yeah, but I
want.
think he's got to do something to it.
I pushed a button and now it's stuck.
Yours is stuck too?
So this is the recording. See over here? That's a mute button. You told me you can mute it in the alley.
All right.
Is
All right,
yours still
guys.
stuck?
Yeah, still stuck. Yep.
When you unmute it, you'll hear like static, and then every once in a while it'll be like.
There you go. You're back on.
All right.
All right, let's go learn about Crazy Pirates, and it's rated R. I had to put that.
This is still on. I had to have both of them so I can hear.
Got it.
That actually looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Doing it again. It's something about that.
Don't wait for something to happen.
it's-
By the time you get to it, it's gone.
It's something about that building because it won't do it anywhere else.
Well, there's a lot of angles in there, so
Yeah.
I have to kind of take that in consideration.
But the
And that would
closer
be
I
a
got
huge
to it-
person,
Yeah.
based on what I'm seeing now, which is probably not the case.
Procedure.
More doctor stuff. occupation, please?
Different. Changing.
Henry Timrod.
That is exquisite.
You told us the word story already. Did that come from you, yes or no?
I don't.
Henry Timrod. Please tell us your occupation. Come on, Shannon, here's something. If-
Sleep.
I'm not going to sleep yet.
What we're talking about, Star Wars. What happened?
Henry Timrod, if you are here, I need you to give me something specific relevant to you. A family member's name, your birthday, your son's birthday, since it's a holiday. You're awfully quiet.
Go away. Numbers. Get real.
We're not going away, Henry.
Advice.
We are going to stay here for at least 10 minutes.
I'll be.
And you're going to hopefully give us some answers, please. Tell us your occupation, please.
Who's here? 20. I see. 31.
Henry, what are we hearing from the church right now? Keep an eye on that Ouija board device. Where's that at?
Tapped out.
We're not tapping them out yet. Henry, what did we just hear from the church?
Redhead. Star Wars. Star Trek. Again.
Yeah, we're asking about the church again. Can you tell us what sound we just heard out of there? Star Wars.
Exhausted.
I know
One more.
you're probably tired of me coming here night after night. I get it. I know you're probably annoyed. But we are learning more about you this way. You told us a lot about your wife and how you met her.
Give you that information.
Yeah, a lot of information. I looked it all up. Everything you said was true. I want you to tell me exactly what we just
Ranking.
heard out of the church.
You have a job to do.
I am doing my job. I'm researching you. But I want to hear it from
Valley.
you first. What did we hear out of the church?
Walk from top.
What sound came out of the church?
On the ring.
It's not quite the word I was looking for. Let's try again.
About.
What sound?
About the things.
What sound did we get out of the church?
Shut it down.
Nope. Not doing it.
Christianity.
Been here under for 4 minutes, just so everybody knows. Henry Timrod, let's
Girl.
get into something a little bit deeper than what's going on in real time. Let's talk about your son. Specific answers about your son. His name, his birthday, his age.
Already evening at start.
Come on, Sharon.
Help. It's been good.
Tell me about your son. His name, his birthday, his age.
Such as. You'll be here.
I'm here every night, Henry. More specific, please. For being respectful, for listening.
Patience. Red.
Word red again.
Job. job. It includes a special
Is it?
you.
Is it Henry Timrod that's here?
People are like, oh,
That's a yes/no question. Answer that way. Is Henry Timrod here? Yes/no answer.
illogical.
More specific.
Product.
I got a line to the poppy.
Is Henry Timrod
Burning
here?
the rainbows.
Lots of color issues.
Baby.
Oh, there we go. Whose baby? What was his name?
Kinda love you.
What was the baby's name?
Protest in 2 weeks. Museum at large.
What was the baby's name?
A little bit more.
Who was he named after?
In Mark's corner, we have some.
Who is your son named after? It's named after Henry's father, William. If anybody was wondering.
Started the truck. Happening.
Henry, it looks like we got some
Now.
more people coming in. You normally clam up.
Jerk.
Let's crowd in a little bit further.
Then the. What are you doing?
Henry, we got some more
Gospel
people walking
music
here.
playing again.
Can you tell us from what church that might be coming from?
With the compass. With the club. This is Rick Willis. Boo.
The son's name was Willie.
Receptive enough.
It's a stretch.
Thinking about 30 minutes. Supplementary. 4.
Henry, you're doing really
Any
well.
of that?
Let's give us a little bit more.
Damage.
Henry, when did your son
Check
pass
of
away?
Tickets.
What month did your son pass away?
Maybe best of. Fortune 4 now.
We're down to 1
In
minute,
price?
Henry. You got to give us the answer to any of those questions I've asked tonight. And we're going to wrap this up.
Radio. Mini courses. Value drive. And long road.
It has been a long road, Henry. I'm going to wrap this one up, sir. You have yourself a good evening. I'll be back tomorrow.
I'm Mary Peters. Not for me.
All right, family members,
Never
let's
cry.
tap her out before she starts spasming. She's got a lot going on. Go ahead and tap her out.